Hello everybody, it's me Ross and welcome to another video. Today I'm joined once again by Matt from New York Talk Podcast, the man who covers all things Rotherham, to discuss Freddie Ladapo, of course, who signed for Town on a free transfer, signing a 3-year deal, the first signing of the summer. I want to get some insight on him as a striker. Matt, first of all, thanks for joining me as ever. Always a pleasure. Let's get some reaction on Freddie joining us. Been with Rotherham for 3 years, left on a free transfer. What was your thoughts when you saw this news?
I can't work out if I was surprised or not. I know Freddie was angling for a championship move, and I was been linked with Sheffield Wednesday as well. It sort of makes sense. You got a team who going to be trying and pushing for promotion next season. Freddie's got the goals in his locker. I'm just sort of glad, we'll come on to the other bits later, I'm sort of glad we don't have to worry about Freddie anymore. We can just he's gone to Ipswich, that's fine. We don't have to worry about it anymore. I think it's a good signing for Ipswich. Is he going to be your main man? There's lots of question marks over what the system's going to be and how you're going to fit Freddie into it. But it can't hurt to have somebody like Freddie in your team in terms of his goal scoring ability, because look at his record at League One, us and Plymouth. There's goals in the man. There's definitely goals in him. Yeah, if you can get it out of him, nice.
Indeed. Let's talk about his 3-year spell at Rotherham then. Signed from Plymouth, a club record fee, which is still that record there in the summer of 2019. Of course, he'd been part of the team that got promoted to the Championship in that first season he was there. 17 goals in 39 games. Then a relegation back to League One, unfortunately. 9 goals in 43 games in the Championship. Then last season, season just gone, where you guys got promoted again. Congratulations. 15 goals in 41 games. So he's, of course, scored a lot of goals. How would you look back on his time at the club? He scored goals. He's been part of the promotion-winning teams. But I know there's some frustration there as well.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of frustration. I mean, on the pitch stuff, I mean, it's a bit of a marriage of convenience with Freddie. When he came in, when you see him straight away, he doesn't fit the Rotherham mould. If anybody watched them before, you look at Michael Smith and the midfield, they run, they work hard, they get in the opposition face a bit. And that was never Freddie. But we needed the goals. We needed somebody to get the goals when Smith can't get them, for example. And it worked. Like I said, nearly 20 goals in that first season, which was cut short. So he probably would have gone on to get 20. But the fans, the relationship with Freddie and the fans, it soured a lot at the end. But the fans never loved Freddie, other than he scored against Sheffield Wednesday late on in a local derby. We loved him for that. But everything else, he just sort of scored the goals. The first season on our podcast, we had chats about, is Freddie a starter or is he a super sub? Because he'd come on, get a late goal, and then he'd start the next game and do nothing. So he is an enigma. He's very frustrating to watch. But like I said, all them goals you scored, he's very difficult to put down on what you sort of think of him, because you can say all these bad things about him at his work rate, X, Y, and Z. But he scored loads of goals. Without him, we wouldn't have been promoted twice in his time at the club. He's a frustrating player. You will find him very frustrating. You'll love him, you'll hate him. I said for a start, he's quite old school. He's an old school poacher, and that's in modern day football. It's lost its way a little bit. It's modern day poacher without being that clinical, as it's in the video on social media, showing his missed chances.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've clicked on that and saw some of his sitters. But unfortunately, League One level, sometimes those sort of strikers you're going to find. But he's proven he can score at League One level, as you said, when he was at Plymouth. You know, he scored a lot of goals for them. And, of course, Rotherham went, we're going to sign this lad. And he's had an interesting career. He started his career, of course, nearby at Colchester, then loads of loan spells and was in non-league. Then he went to Crystal Palace, weirdly, for a couple of years after scoring loads of goals for Margate. Then he went to Southend, joined Plymouth, then with you guys. The elephant in the room, of course, he handed in a transfer request in January. Of course, Sheffield Wednesday was sniffing around. Of course, he still played for you guys, was part of the team that won the EFL trophy at Wembley. A nice little day out for you guys. But then he was released this summer. Didn't play the final few games. The club had an option on him, but they decided not to give it to him, and he's left on a free, and he's now at Portman Road. Your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, the story's really weird. You have to sort of go back to like November. Will Grigg came in from Sunderland and were brilliant. The work rate was there, and he was scoring the goals. He then came out because he played Sunderland because he couldn't play against parent club. Freddie came in, and the work rate was there. For 7 or 8 games, Freddie was there. He was scoring goals, but he was pressing defenders. Everything was going right, even up to Christmas. And then into the new year, I think it was I think it was the first Saturday into the new year, news breaks that he has put in a transfer request. And bearing in mind, he'd played basically every minute since November. He'd been scoring goals, and we were top at league, and one game away from Wembley at the time. It didn't really make any sense. And it seems that Freddie's team leaked the transfer request. That didn't come from the club. The club were doing everything to keep it quiet. Freddie's team leaked the transfer request. And you're sort of thinking, well, this doesn't make any sense. It don't quite work out. We know he's not from the area, but nobody came out and said Freddie's putting a transfer request because he wants to move back down London or wherever else. It was just Freddie's handing a transfer request. And then it became very difficult for Paul Warne. I think Warne handled it the best way he possibly could. He just took Freddie out of the firing line, because if Freddie would have played, he'd have got absolute pelters from fans. And some would say rightly so, because he just didn't want to be here. But then again, another twist is he came back in the big game, local derby, Sheffield Wednesday, came in, scored, the work rate was back, and then it stopped again. He came out of the team, the work rate stopped. And then for the last 4 games of the season, bearing in mind we're fighting for promotion, Freddie was literally nowhere to be seen. You had Will Grigg, who was injured and couldn't play, but still turned up every single game. Other players injured, but still coming to the game. Freddie didn't come to any of the games. He didn't come up to the promotion parade with a parade down the town. Freddie didn't turn up to that. It's been tough as a fan to defend him. Obviously, we do a podcast. We try to stay quite level-headed, and I really struggled to defend his actions in terms of how he's treated the club. It feels like he's disrespected the club and Paul Warne and everything else. And as a fan, all we care about is the club. Players will come and go, but while you're here, try and respect it. And it's been tough to take, to be honest with you. What I will say is I'm going to put some defence in for Freddie, though, because off the pitch, away from football, he's clearly a great guy. There was an incident earlier this season, where there was a young lass that was bullied and racially abused for playing football, basically. And after one of the games, Freddie went up to her, gave her a shirt, just spent time with her talking to this lass and just making her feel special and making sure she's all right. So there is a brilliant guy in there, clearly. But from the footballing point of view, or around the football team point of view, it became difficult to like him. And that's the last thing you want to do as one of your players.
Yeah, with all of his interviews done, for the club, for Ipswich Town at the moment, he's a great character. But of course, you've got the cliches in there, big club, always want to be playing at these big stadiums, sort of stuff. Of course, he probably want to be playing Championship football, but of course, Ipswich Town playing in League One for the 4th year in a row. You've added some pros, and there's a few cons there. As a whole, will Freddie be a good signing for Town in terms of being an option? He's proven at this level. Hopefully, he can bring the work rate to the club. I know we've got young manager Kieran McKenna. I'm sure will get the best out of any player, it seems, at the moment, because he's an upcoming manager. He's someone who's showing he can improve any play, even if they're on, not doing so well, out of form, whatever. But he's been able to do that. But as a whole, could he be our man? Because we've been needing a striker for a while to score goals. Could he be our man?
If you can create enough chances, yeah. Freddie, his goal scoring record is quite streaky. He might get 1 in 10. But then he will get 8 in 6 and things like that. I would be uncomfortable him being the main man for my club again, because I just don't trust him from on the pitch type thing. I don't trust him to be clinical enough. But he is a man for the big occasion. He loves big occasion. Whenever on telly or anything like that, he turns up. Obviously, you've got a big stadium with loads of fans behind you. That may well be something that motivates him, because I think you need to find a way to motivate him. So for me, I would be happy if he's going to be not a bit part player, but come on as sub, start a few games. If he's going to be the main man, then that would be a massive concern for me. It depends on your stump of business, really. Who else are you going to get in depends on how good a sign this is, if that sort of makes sense.
Indeed. Of course, it's our first summer signing, an interesting one indeed. On a free, it's sort of like, at least we haven't paid a fee on for him. It's a 3-year deal. He's 29 years of age, a good age for a striker. Matt, it's been a pleasure. Some great insight there. Any other business you want to say before we wrap up, my friend?
No, all I can say is good luck to Freddie. I know we left in bad circumstances, but good luck to him. And I hope to see him in the Championship in 2023.
Yes, my friend. Hopefully you're there, and hopefully we'll see you there as well. We shall see. Thanks again, Matt, for joining me. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Let us know in the comments down below your thoughts, your feelings on Freddie Ladapo signing for Town. Bring it on.